Battlefront Report, Part 2. During our conversation, Mrs. Clare expressed uncertainty about God's will. She made a statement along the line, "I don't know what God is saying." I jumped on this statement with my whole being to talk to her about why she should keep the pregnancy. I explained to her that abortion is simply murder, and that proceeding with the abortion is her giving Satan a license to torment her and her family. God helped as the pharmacy was unusually quiet that Saturday. Typically, Saturdays can be quite busy in most community pharmacies, because that is when people are mostly free to stop by and get their medications or to consult with a pharmacist. On a regular day, I would have people waiting to see me, but as God would have it, nobody came while I was speaking with her. I approached the conversation from both the spiritual and practical perspective. From a spiritual standpoint, I told her that abortion is a sin against God and is something that will weigh down on her conscience for a very long time. On the physical side, I highlighted the importance of female children, often being more family-oriented and caring for their parents in old age. Mrs. Clare resonated with this, proudly sharing about her first daughter's intelligence and accomplishments. Mrs. Clare expressed a desire for a scan, hoping to provide some clarity, but given the early stage of her pregnancy, doing a scan was useless as it would not be able to detect the sex of the child. Our conversation came to a close when other customers started arriving, and Mrs. Clare agreeing to keep the pregnancy. I asked if I could pray for her. She agreed. During the prayer, I felt led to say, "Father, because she will obey you, please let her reap the fruits of her obedience." I also prayed that even if she did not get what she wanted, she would have the peace that comes with obeying God and trust that His plans are good. I had to throw in that prayer too, because in my mind, I didn't want someone to come back after 9 months and say, "But you prayed for me that if I kept the pregnancy, it would be a male child." As I prayed, I noticed Mrs. Clare started crying, and she continued to cry even when I was done praying for her. She shared that, ironically, she is a Sunday school teacher or holds a similar position in her church. She often advises women in similar situations who come to her confused about whether to keep a pregnancy or to abort, yet here she was considering an abortion. I consoled her, exchanged numbers, and promised to stay in touch. As she left, doubts crept in. Would her husband override her decision to keep the pregnancy? She had mentioned earlier that they had mutually agreed to go ahead with the abortion, but I chose to trust God, believing He would guide her. Some days later, we spoke again, and surprisingly, she asked for multivitamin recommendations for a pregnant woman. I was more than happy to help. As the days turned into months, and the months into 9, I wondered what would happen next. Then, one day out of the blue, Mrs. Clare called me and I was taken aback. She called me to inform me that she had given birth. I froze a bit. I could not ask the gender immediately. All I could mutter was, "Thank you, Jesus." I could sense disappointment in her voice as she asked, "You won't ask me the gender?" I apologized and asked the gender, and guess what? I'm sure you know the answer already. It was a boy. I was overjoyed and so happy. I kept saying, "Thank you, Jesus." Mrs. Clare was incredibly grateful and thanked me for my earlier counsel that helped her change her plans. She promised to share the testimony of her son's birth and the story behind it whenever she shares about him. Although I could not attend the child's dedication ceremony, but I've seen pictures of the adorable baby boy. I'm deeply grateful to God for Mrs. Clare, and I'm amazed by God's intentionality and care for us when we obey Him. This experience strengthened my faith, and I'm sure that of Mrs. Clare as well. I bless God for this amazing thing He has done. May His name be praised forever.